UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The Journey program on UBC TV is brought to you by Plascon, color your world. About red, about blue, it's your turn to shine in Plascon Paint and win the 12K edition. Buy Plascon Paint worth 100K, get a scratch card and SMS the code to 7197. Not only will you win instant airtime, but you could take home 1 million shillings daily, a share of 4 million shillings each week, or a brand new motorbike with fuel worth 100K. Tune in every Sunday at 6:55 p.m. on NBS, Bukede TV or Sanyuka TV to catch all the colorful action. Terms and conditions apply. Plascon, color your world.
Thank you very much and good evening, viewers. I'm happy to be on this program called The Journey. And the journey we are going to take with you is the journey of the Department of Youth and Children Affairs in the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. Chateka Mondo is my name. I work as Assistant Commissioner in the Department of Youth and Children Affairs, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. Some of you would like to call it the Ministry for everyone and everybody, because our concern is right from the child at birth up to the elderly moving towards death. And so we are responsible for everything, and everything we do is about empowerment of the vulnerable people. That's our cardinal responsibility. We also do issues to do with culture. We do issues to do with labor, the laborers. We do issues to do with women empowerment, but those are for another day. Today, our journey is going to be specifically on the Department of Youth and Children Affairs. That has come a long way. The name of the ministry has been changing over time. At one time, it was Culture and Sports. At another time, it was Culture, Gender and Youth. Today, it's Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. So there's been a transition of this department. And what is the main task of the Department of Youth and Children Affairs, if I may divulge into that? The main duty for the department is protection of the children, ensuring that the rights of the children are adhered to, but also ensuring that the children's responsibilities are also executed. When you have a right, you also have a responsibility. So we ensure that the children are protected according to the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Article 34 provides for the rights of the children. But also the UN Convention on the Rights of the Children also provides the rights of the children. But also the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Children is also talking about the rights and welfare of the children. So our issues here is to ensure that we live to our commitments. We have committed ourselves under those different instruments and we have to adhere to them. The second one is youth empowerment. For youth, we don't talk about protection, we talk about empowerment. Empowerment in terms of ensuring that they have the requisite jobs that they need to empower them and to work. They have the right discipline, they participate. Participation is a cardinal responsibility. We ensure that youth and children participate in activities that affect them and affect the country at large. So when we are talking about child participation, some people don't understand us because they believe that children are meant to be seen, not be heard. The same way they think about youth, that youth are supposed to be seen, not to be heard. With us, we believe in an asset-based approach to youth and children programming, where we don't take children and youth as targets to be met, but as people who have a stake in issues that affect them. Therefore, their prayers in terms of providing solutions to the problems they are having, in terms of discussing and bridging the intergenerational gap. We are in for ensuring that the different generations talk to each other. That's why under the new family policy, which is coming up soon, we are talking about the revival of the Choto, a Choto in Usoga, a Choto in Uganda, a Choto in Toro, a Choto in Bunyoro, but also different tribes, the Cholis, they have the way they call it, the Western Islanders, they have the way they talk about it. We are talking about places where children and parents have a point, a space to meet and discuss and get to know the norms and values of the communities where they live. And so that's what we are advocating for. We want to see that the intergenerational gap is reduced, that people understand each other. We have done a lot of things. If you talk about achievements, I'll tell you that in 1993 we put in place the National Youth Council of Uganda. This is a structure through which young people can participate in the national development of the country. It's a structure through which they can be heard. It's a structure through which they can do a lot of things under their own leadership. National Youth Council is an entity in itself. When going to the children, we established a National Child Authority that looks at the monitoring of government in terms of what we are doing to achieve the rights of the young people, especially the children. And so we can go on and on. In terms of the policy, we have a national youth policy for the Republic of Uganda that guides the things we do in the area of youth, but also we are enjoined by the African Youth Charter, and we have the national, the World Program of Action on Youth Empowerment under the UN and a number of others. Under the children, we have the UN Convention on the Rights of the Children, and I've also alluded to the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. So for all these that are international, we try to domesticate them, we try to create awareness about them, we disseminate them, and we do a lot of things along that way. We also have a national integrated early childhood development policy that we developed with a national action plan, which are under review as I speak now, because these are documents of 2016, and it's about 7 years down the road. We are thinking of reviewing them to ensure that they continue to be consistent with the terms of the day. When you talk about what our future plans are, we want to strengthen the family unit. The family unit is the beginning of everything that we can talk about. If a child does not grow up in a responsible family, then we are heading for disaster. We are doing a lot of things down here. I'll tell you that about 3 years ago, we launched a national strategy to end teenage pregnancy and child marriage. That is a critical step, because as you know, around the COVID time, so many children got pregnant, and that's why we are talking about giving them a second chance. Those so many children that got pregnant in 2021, almost 1,000 children were getting pregnant every week, and that is a big thing. If 1,000 children get pregnant, they drop out of school. So we talked about how do we intentionally come up with a strategy to end teenage pregnancy and child marriages in this country. We don't talk about early marriages, because how early is early? We are talking about child, because the child, then you understand that we are talking about 57% of the population of Uganda. 57% of the population of Uganda is constituted by children. 21% of the population of Uganda is constituted by youth. So in total, when you talk about young people, the people below the age of 30, 78% of the population of the Republic of Uganda. Teenage pregnancy has been persistently at 25%. It has reduced by 1 percentage point due to the current UNHCR report shows that we are now 24% teenage pregnancy, 40% child marriages in this country, 56% unintended pregnancy, and this happens more within the youth and the children. So all these are things that we want to address, or we are addressing under the national strategy to end teenage pregnancy and child marriages in this country. May I also inform you that right now we are reviewing a number of policies. One of them is the culture policy. Culture policy is under another department, but it has a bearing on the children and youth of this country. We are also coming up with a national action plan on youth employment, because unemployment is more pronounced among the young people than anybody else. And so we are coming up with that strategically to be able to address the vagaries of youth unemployment. A report that was released recently by the National Planning Authority indicated that we have about 41% of our youth who are under NEET. NEET means not in employment, not in education, and not in training. And that 41% means we have 4.2 million youth who are not in employment, not in education, not in training. The question you may ask me is, where are they? That's what we want to find out. And if we don't find out, this number is supposed to grow to 5.8 million youth, not in employment, not in education, not in training. The beginning of solving a problem is understanding that you have a problem. And so we have identified that as a problem. And right now, under the construction of a national employment strategy that we are working on as a ministry, we are going to see how we address the need in this country. And if we do that, then we are sure about stability, because you see, poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. And somebody was pointing out the other day that the problem with Africa is that the poor don't sleep because they are hungry, and the rich don't sleep because the poor are awake. So extracting poverty from our midst is one of the things that we are fighting tooth and nail, working with the National Youth Council, working with everybody, local governments, to ensure that the young people access money under PDM, the parish development model. But also, we continue to implement the youth livelihood program, albeit with limited funding, because a lot of money has been shifted to PDM. But still, we know that the young people will benefit under PDM. We are also ensuring that the young people benefit through the UWEP, the National Women Enterprise Program. You may tell me that, that's for women. Yes, it is, but we have women, the moment you are 18, you are no longer a child, you can be called a woman. So that does not stop you from being a youth, but at the same time being a woman. So again, youth are supposed to benefit, or are benefiting from the UWEP program. We have gone ahead to also have a new program on board, and a program called GROW. GROW program is for women in business. We feel that if we fight poverty, a lot of the other vices that happen will be solved. So we are intentional on drawing young people out of poverty, but also educating the young people. An educated young person is an asset. Whereas he may not have the job immediately, at least he's more empowered than a person who doesn't have education. Of course, along the way, we have faced a lot of challenges. The population growth that I've talked about, our population growth stands at 3% per annum. 3% per annum. Ugandans don't sleep. Ugandans are producing day and night. And so whereas we have interventions, it's like you are mopping, but the tap is open. You can find employment for a cohort of young people, but you and me are again producing more. So we have to consistently devise mechanisms of ensuring that we ride with the tides. And so that's the first challenge, that we have the fastest growing population in East and Central Africa. Two is that because of that population explosion, the amounts of money we are investing is not adequate. The money we have under Youth Livelihood Program is not adequate. Under UWEP is not adequate. Under Youth Venture Capital Fund is not adequate. Under entrepreneurship is not adequate. Then the three is that we have high illiteracy rates, not only among the old people, but also among the young people. That we have people that have not gone to school. And not going to school alone is a big challenge. And so all these, when you put them together and you look at the fact that our country is still a developing country, then you find those vagaries. Of course, we have the challenge of the climate change, that where we have encouraged the young people to go into agriculture. When they go and they're in agriculture and the sun burns, drought comes in, they don't get what they are supposed to get, then they lose morale to invest in agriculture. Yet agriculture is supposed to be the mainstay of the country. And so without irrigation, functional irrigation scheme, then we cannot adequately talk about young people positively contributing to agricultural growth of this country.
The Journey program on UBC TV.
Come and shine in Plascon Paint and win the Twake edition. Buy Plascon Paint worth 100,000 shillings. Get a scratch card and SMS the code to 7197. Not only will you win instant airtime, but you could take home 1 million shillings daily, a share of 4 million shillings each week, or a brand new motorbike with fuel worth 100,000 shillings. Terms and conditions apply. Plascon, color your world.
The Journey program on UBC TV.
I want to start with the issue of the street children. Yes, there are a number of street children in the country, but you know, streets don't produce children. Children come on the streets from somewhere. There's a parent somewhere who is being irresponsible, who has produced more than what he can handle. That's how they come. So talking about KCCA removing them and coming back, actually you would have said KCCA and Ministry of Gender. We work with KCCA to withdraw these children, we screen them, we educate them, we resettle them. But as long as we have not addressed the push and pull factors, these children will continue coming to the streets. So, my brother, we need to address the numbers that people produce. Can you produce only the number of children you can afford to look after? Because if you have two, you must have heard me at the beginning of this program, because me, I have very few children. And you know, I take care to ensure that I know where each one of them is, and I can define it to you now where all my two children are. One of them I was talking to, another is also somewhere else. But if you're going to produce 10 children, because the Bible says, go multiply and fill the world. The Bible was not talking about me more as an individual, that I'm the one to fill the world. It was talking about all of us. That if we all produce, you've produced 2, I produce 2, you produce 3, since you have much more money than me, you can produce 3, and then we can talk about filling the world. Because, take it from here, that even God himself produced only one child, Jesus Christ. So who are you? Produce 10. So we need to address the causal factors, and that's what we have jumped into now. There's an ordinance in Kampala City which is making it illegal for you to give money to children on the street. Because tell me, if these children stayed on the street for a week and nobody gave them money, they will disappear. And so that's all I can say about the street children. The YLP, I must say that YLP is one of the programs on which we are so happy, that much as you hear those dissenting voices, YLP Youth Livelihood Program has performed so well. Evidence shows that young people who have benefited from the Youth Livelihood Program are doing very well. Many of them paid back the money and they are doing their business. On the merger, it's a deliberate strategy by government not to do away with those institutions, including the National Child Authority. They are merging the Secretariat so that they are managed under one executive officer. They are not doing away, or we are not doing away with these councils. Youth Council, Women Council, National Children Council, Disability Council. We are saying that other than spending a lot of money on overhead costs, can we have one team of people under one chief executive that will serve all these councils? There are about 5 or 6. And this is part of rationalization of government. That it's not happening only to these councils, it's also happening to other authorities. You have heard about UNRWA, that UNRWA will go back to Ministry of Works as it is, and you saw it's part of a deliberate policy to repurpose the funding. And so nobody is destroying these authorities, they are just getting merged in terms of the Secretariat and not the composition. The youth councils will remain, the women councils will remain, the disability councils will remain, but under one top executive officer. It's part of rationalization of funding of these agencies. And of course, in everything we do as a ministry, we have benefited a lot from our partnerships. We build partnerships. Right now, I'm with UBC. We are not paying for this interview. It's a partnership. But UBC is part of government. But also under the policy of private-public partnership, we work with so many partners. We work with the UN agencies, we work with civil society organizations. We do a lot of things to ensure that we are able to reach every Ugandan youth, every Ugandan child. We try despite the limitations. So our strength lies in our partnerships. And that's why Zig Ziglar says that your network is your net worth. We cherish the principle of partnering with people like you and others to be able to take our mandate forward. Our future plans is one, to ensure that we find resources to capitalize the programs that aim at empowering the youth, but also protecting the children. We aim at also ensuring that the plans we have made, like the strategy to end child marriage and teenage pregnancy, when well funded, we should be able to reduce or downgrade the profile of teenage marriage and child marriages in this country. We also aim at strengthening the family. We believe that the family is the most important basic unit where everything starts. And so, as a ministry, we want to ensure that the family is strengthened to be able to deliver what it ought to deliver. We are also looking at local governments coming up with ordinances, bylaws that will help us implement the various things that we aim to implement. But also finally, and very seriously, we want to continue creating awareness about family size. Family size continues to be a challenge for us because people are producing beyond what they can manage to look after. So we are not stopping people from producing. Let them produce, but they should produce what they are able to look after. The cardinal responsibility of any mother, any father, is to look adequately after the children that they produce. It's not delegatable. It's your responsibility, and you must execute it with dignity, commitment, and with passion. I want to conclude by saying that there are a number of things we have done. There are a number of things that remain undone. But what comforts us is that we are not where we want to be, but we are not where we were yesterday. We have traveled the journey. The journey continues. The journey of 100 miles starts with the first step. We have taken more than one step. We have taken a number of strides. But we can't walk this journey alone. There is an old African adage that says that if you want to move very fast, move alone. But if you want to go far, move together. With us, we believe in a partnership with UBC, a partnership with everybody, a partnership with civil society organization, a partnership with the UN agencies, a partnership with the families. We want to move that way on this journey. That's when this journey will make a lot of sense. That's when this journey will be empowering the young people. And we want to thank everybody so far who has walked this journey with us. But we are saying we are not yet there. So don't dare abandon us. We can only become heroes after we have accomplished the mission that we set ourselves to do. So we want total empowerment of the young people. We want total protection of the young people. We want young people to have employment. We want young people to have discipline. We want young people to love their country. And patriotism is not negotiable. We belong to this country. We found it here. We must make it better than we found it. I thank you, everybody. Thank you for walking this journey with us. God bless you. For God and my country.
The Journey program on UBC TV was brought to you by Plascon, Color Your World.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
From foundations to homes, to skyscrapers, sketches to superhighways, come meet the people raising the bar in construction at the first ever Uganda Construction and Infrastructure Forum and Exhibition. Genuine contractors, architects, engineers, surveyors, financiers, suppliers, manufacturers,